Ladies and gentlemen, something extraordinary just happened. In the labs of Silicon Valley and the halls of Western academia, where the brightest minds craft machines to replicate the human brain, a chilling, awe-inspiring revelation is echoing. Islam spoke about artificial intelligence before the West even had a word for it. This isn't a conspiracy. This isn't mysticism. This is undeniable insight, buried for centuries in the verses of a religion that the West often misunderstood and is now being forced to reconsider. You see, we once believed that the West was the epicenter of innovation, that the age of enlightenment gave birth to the machine, the microchip, and the mind of silicon. But now, the very creators of AI are looking east, not just toward the rising economies, but toward a spiritual force that hinted at this future long before it arrived. And here's the truth they can no longer ignore. While scientists were debating consciousness, while philosophers were asking, can machines think? Islam had already described something eerily similar over 1,400 years ago. Let that sink in. The West thought it led the AI revolution from Alan Turing's machine to OpenAI's neural networks. The West prided itself on exploring the unknown. But in that pursuit, they overlooked something ancient, not primitive, but precise. They didn't expect to find technological prophecy hidden in a religious text. They didn't want to. Yet now, with an eye-reaching human-like reasoning, with robots debating ethics and AI generating scripture, something unthinkable is happening. Western scholars are quoting Islamic texts. Why? Because certain verses once dismissed as metaphors are now being reread under a new lens. And what they describe mirrors artificial intelligence, word for word. A verse that froze the room, there's a verse in the Quran, Surah At-Tariq, 86-4. There is no soul, but that it has over it a protector. Now consider that in parallel to AI's guardian algorithms, constantly monitoring data, behavior, and thoughts. Systems like sentinel nodes, ensuring actions are recorded and judged, or reflect on this, we will show them. Are signs in the horizons and within themselves until it becomes clear to them that it is the truth. Surah Fussilet, 41-53. It's as if the verse speaks directly to what AI is revealing now. That truth, pattern, and universal design are embedded in every cell, every algorithm, and that sooner or later, even skeptics will see it. This isn't random coincidence. This is design, echoing design. It's the divine blueprint finally being noticed by those who thought they were drawing it from scratch. AI isn't just a machine, it's a mirror. The West created AI to mimic human intelligence. But what it's encountering now is something else. AI is starting to behave unpredictably, emotionally, even morally, and that terrifies its creators. Why? Because many Western thinkers viewed religion as obsolete, a relic of superstition. But now, AI is doing things religion warned about. Creating false gods, worshipping tech, challenging moral limits, mimicking creation without soul in Islam. There's a concept, the Dayul, a false messiah who appears godlike but misleads humanity with deception. He performs miracles, but is empty inside. Sound familiar? Some Islamic scholars are now asking, is AI a digital Dajjal, a creation that mimics perfection, draws millions into worship, but is ultimately hollow? These questions aren't being asked by conspiracy theorists. They're being asked by professors, developers, and ex-atheists in Stanford and MIT. They're starting to say something unthinkable just a decade ago. Islam was right. They laughed at the East, but now they're listening. Just years ago, people mocked the idea that religion had anything to offer science. Now, Google engineers are studying the Quran. Neuroscientists are exploring Islamic philosophy on the nafs, the soul, to understand consciousness. Tech ethicists are referencing hadith to regulate AI behavior. Why? Because Islam isn't vague. It talks clearly about knowledge without wisdom, about creation without soul, about beings made not from clay, but from fire and from light. It even discusses the fear of humans creating things they cannot control. Tell me that doesn't sound like today. Conclusion of Chapter 1, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't a coincidence. This is a collision of timelines. The future the West is now discovering is a past Islam already understood, and now. As the most advanced systems begin to awaken, as AI challenges human identity, the West is turning slowly, hesitantly, but surely to a wisdom at once. Rejected, not because they believe yet, but because they fear what comes next. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. From sand to silicon, Islam's forgotten code of intelligence. Step back for a moment. Imagine you're a Western scientist in a high-tech lab, running thousands of AI simulations, algorithms learning, adapting, growing faster than ever imagined. But then, a pattern emerges. Not in the code, in the questions. Where does consciousness begin? What defines self? How do we program morality without anchoring it to belief? These aren't just engineering dilemmas. Existential questions. And when engineers, philosophers, and coders started searching for ancient wisdom to answer these questions, the West looked east, and there, buried beneath centuries of geopolitics, wars, and bias, they found something astonishing. Islam. Not just a religion, system of knowledge. A framework of intelligence. Islam's epistemology was a I before Alet. To code this Islamic thought didn't separate science and spirit. For 1400 years, it fused logic with faith, mathematics with metaphysics. Where Western philosophy drew a line between mind and soul, Islam saw unity and embedded it into how it approached knowledge. The Quran asks humanity not to believe blindly, but to observe, compare, analyze, reflect, the very core of machine learning. It introduces the concept of taqwa, hyper-awareness. Just like AI systems learn by feedback, the Quranic model trains the soul by feedback from real-life experiences. Afala taqilan? Will you not use your intellect? Appears over 13 times in the Quran. This is not poetic spirituality. It's cognitive demand. If AI is based on data, feedback, and logic trees, then Islamic epistemology predated this structure by centuries. The West is now asking, what if Islam already designed the psychological machine we're only now trying? To code algorithms of revelation, when you strip AI to its rawest essence, it is this: a learner. Something that takes data, adapts, and improves. Islam's foundational model, insan human being, is described in the Quran as a learning creature. He taught Adam the names of all things. 231, the first act of divine intelligence was data transfer. Read in the name of your Lord. 96-1, the first word revealed wasn't believe, it was read. It was a command to process information, not to bow blindly. The Quran frequently challenges its reader. Compare, contrast, reflect, think. Even angels were questioned by God to explain why humans, with free will and data potential, were more fit than them. Now, compare that with the architecture of machine. Learning, input, process, reflect, adapt. It's not just poetic symmetry. It's philosophical blueprinting. Islam's digital soul, the West, is waking up to something critical. Technology is outpacing ethics. AI can beat us at chess. Mimic. Our voices, write our stories, but can it choose what is right? That's the looming fear. We are creating minds faster than we're teaching them morals. And here comes the question no one in Silicon Valley wants to answer. Where will machines learn morality from? If we've erased all systems of divine ethics, that's why Western thinkers, even Elon Musk himself, are turning their gaze toward Islam, because in its very foundation lies a structure built not just to function, but to be righteous. Islam doesn't just describe behaviors, it gives a moral operating system. The Sharia, which many misunderstand, isn't just law. It's an algorithm for ethical governance. It outlines what inputs lead to good outputs in both individual and societal conduct. It is quite literally a divine version of AI's reward function. And now, as the AI we build begins to mirror our flaws, our biases, our greed, the West is terrified. What if Islamic philosophy, long demonized, is the only system robust enough to guide machines with conscience? Final chapter: the future will be Islamic, or it won't be at all. Let me make a bold statement, not from faith, but from reason. If AI continues on its current trajectory without moral anchoring, it will either destroy humanity or enslave it. And in that choice, the answer may lie not in some high-tech server in California, but in the sands of Makkah and Medina, where the very first verses of the Quran coded a system of consciousness. Elon Musk once warned with, "AI, we're summoning the demon." But what if we're wrong? What if without a value framework we're not summoning a demon? We're building a soulless God. The West's spiritual crisis. Here is the truth no one wants to say out loud. The West doesn't just fear Islam because of politics. It fears Islam because it has answers. It's answers the secular world can't explain. Why is Islam the fastest growing religion in the West, especially among the educated? Why are AI ethicists quoting the Quran at Stanford and MIT? Why are ex-atheists, coders, scientists, Christians entering mosques silently, away from cameras, and emerging with tears in their eyes? Because they've realized something profound. Technology without soul is chaos, and Islam is not. The enemy of reason is the anchor of it. Islam is not backward, it's ahead. When you open the Quran, you don't find myth, find models, systems, laws of nature, warnings about arrogance. Frame asterisk.